everyone and welcome to a brand new Geoguessr video. In today's video, we will be talking about how to tell all African countries apart. But before we continue, I have noticed that only 2.9% of you guys are subscribed, so if you do end up enjoying the video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, as it is free and you can always change your mind later. But without any further ado, let's get back to the video. The first thing we need to know to be able to differentiate the African countries is to know which ones are actually in the game. As you can see, most countries aren't even in Geoguessr. The ones that are in it are Senegal, Tunisia, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Botswana, South Africa, Eswatini, Lesotho. Apart from the countries, there are some with very few coverage such as Egypt, São Tomé and Príncipe, and Madagascar. However, we'll leave these apart for now and come back later for them. Starting on the north, we have Tunisia. Firstly, we can see that not all of this country has Google coverage, but only the eastern coast, so that should already help you when trying to guess where you are. The official language of Tunisia is Arabic, meaning that if you see Arabic text in Africa, you are most likely to be here. Nevertheless, seeing French isn't too rare in this country either. As you can see on your screen, Tunisian stop signs have a unique design as they have some Arabic text on the top, and stop beneath that. Furthermore, Tunisia usually has white road lines, and you can often see some French-style bollards, as well as being able to see road markers which usually indicate the road that you are in. In addition, the Google car has an antenna, which can help you differentiate it from other countries such as UAE, Jordan, etc. And lastly, another important tip for Tunisia is that it usually has a follow car, which may not always appear, but most of the time it will. Moving on to the western coast of the continent, we find ourselves in Senegal. Senegal's official language is French, which can be a good tip to differentiate it from other countries that have similar landscapes. As you can also see, Senegal's nature looks decently arid, as well as having some trees. In addition, you can also spot French-style poles and bollards within this country. Furthermore, Senegal's car is also one which is rather easy to recognize. As you can see, it is a grey pickup truck, or in other cases, it can also be white or black. Southeast from Senegal we have Ghana. The easiest way to recognize Ghana is thanks to the tape of the Google car. This is because the Google car here has a black tape on the top right roof rack, which is unique to this country. Apart from this, Ghana also has yellow or white license plates and its official language is English. The next country we'll talk about is Nigeria. The fifth tip for Nigeria is that there are often many yellow tuk-tuks, which can already help you differentiate it from other countries. Just like Tunisia, Nigeria also has a follow car. However, this one is easier to spot as it is often a police car. However, there can also be other ones. The Nigeria Google car is also oftenly easy to guess as it is either a very noticeable blur, or you can also have distinct roof racks, this being because they have a continuous mix between black and yellow stripes. The last tip for Nigeria is that they often have greenish license plates, which can help you differentiate it from the rest of African countries. Moving to the eastern coast of Africa, we have Kenya. Most of Kenya's coverage is around four main cities: Mombasa, Nairobi, Nakuru, and Kisumu, with some national parks as well. The main tip I have for Kenya is that the Google car often has a snorkel on top of it, which can often help you differentiate it from the Senegal one. Just like many other countries, Kenya's official language is English. The last tip for Kenya is that it has unique license plates. This is because the front license plate is a white rectangle, and the back one is a yellow square, which can also help you in some rounds. Next to Kenya is Uganda, which is a fairly simple country to guess as well as get an almost perfect score in. As you can see, Uganda has very limited coverage, being most of it in its capital, Kampala, as well as some in national parks around the country. Just like many other African countries, the easiest way to identify Uganda is by looking at the Google car. In Uganda's case, the car will have visible side mirrors, as well as part of the white front of the car, being the rest blurred. In Uganda, you will also have white front plates and yellow back ones. However, the difference here from Kenya is that both will be the same size. In Uganda national parks, the car will be different from the main one, and most of the time it will be completely blurred. So just make sure to watch out for those. South of Uganda, we have Rwanda. Rwanda's coverage is mainly around its capital, Kigali. However, it isn't too uncommon to get around far from it. Rwanda is a fairly easy country to guess as it has Gen for coverage all across the country, as well as having either a white, black or brown pickup truck, this being visible all rounds. Lastly, we're going to explore the southern part of Africa. In this case, we'll start with Botswana. Just like in Uganda, Botswanian license plates will be white on the front and yellow in the back. The Google car in Botswana is often blurred out. However, if you do see it, it will often be just the front, which is white. In Botswana, it is common to find signs with yellow and black patterns. You can see these types of signs across the whole country, but they are most common in Gaborone. Botswana has dry and flat climate with some trees. However, you can also see some hills in the north of the continent. The road lines in the southern African countries will be commonly made up of yellow sidelines and a white center line. There can also be more than one line in the center, but the sidelines will always be yellow. South to Botswana, we find ourselves in South Africa. South Africa is a decently hard country to guess as it is very similar to Australia. South Africa's official languages are English and Afrikaans, so if you see them you should already guess there. Furthermore, South Africa doesn't have many bollards, so that you help you out with your guesses as well. South Africa has many different climate, having dense deserts on the north near the Namibian and Botswanian border, and more greenery around Durban, Cape Town, Pretoria, etc. Houses in South Africa also tend to have high fences, as there is a high crime rate in South Africa. South African traffic lights typically have a yellow pole, which is a good way to identify it from Botswana, as they have black and yellow ones. Lastly, we have Eswatini and Lesotho. These two countries are pretty hard to tell apart, but with enough practice you will be able to do so easily. In Lesotho, you will often find rocky and mountainous terrain, with not many trees. And Eswatini also has many mountains, however, these have many more trees. Another tip for Eswatini is that they often have long golden grass, so as you ever see it, you should confidently guess Eswatini. Now that we have talked about all the major countries within Africa, let's move on to the less common ones. These are Egypt, Madagascar, and Sao Tome and Principe. Starting with Egypt, the coverage is very limited, as well as only covering some of the most famous landmarks within this country. It also has desert terrain and is very dry. Sao Tome and Principe is made up of 2 islands and is located east of Equatorial Guinea. This country is very easy to guess, as it has a very poor camera quality, and by that I mean that you'd need to turn your brightness to max to differentiate the darkness of the camera from the people. And lastly, we have Madagascar. Madagascar have a fair amount of coverage, however, most of it centers around 4 places: Mbanja, which is at the north of the country, Antananarivo, its capital city, Morondava, and 2 random islands east of Raharaka. You will rarely see car coverage in this country, as most of it is either trekker or boat, as well as having some in which the vehicle are 2 cows. An important location that you also need to remember in this country is the Avenue of Baobabs north of Morondava, as it is a decently common location to get. And with that being said, our guide on how to tell African countries apart comes to an end. If you found these video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.